What is the difference between virtual functions and pure virtual functions? See, virtual function is just like any other member function in the base class that you will be redefining in the derived class. Because in inheritance, you have a base class and the derived class. Base will have a function, derived will have the same function with the same name. For example, fun is the function, the same name function will be in the base class as well as derived class. So a virtual function is a member function in the base class that you are going to redefine in your derived class, because you have derived that class from, and they both have the same function. But instead of just using it, you have redefined it, and this is declared using the virtual keyword. What about pure virtual function? This is a function that has no implementation. You are not, this virtual function has a definition. You will give some code there, some instruction there. But in the virtual function, when it is pure virtual function, it has no body, it has no instruction, it is just written like is equal to 0. This is equal to has nothing to do with the assignment. The 0 is just put here to tell the compiler that this function should be treated as a pure virtual function. Okay, so there will be no implementation in this base class will have no implementation. You have to implement it in the derived class. So let us see them one by one. Virtual function, as I said, is a member function of the base class, and this can be redefined whenever you are inheriting it in a derived class. Okay, and the pure virtual function is a member function of the base class who has only declaration in the base class, and you need to define it by yourself in the derived class. Otherwise, your derived class will also become abstract. If you don't implement, if you don't write the code of this function, your derived class will also become an abstract. Please remember. Then virtual function, the classes having virtual functions, they are not abstract, because this is just a function. You have just made it virtual because you are inheriting it and you want to call this function or a derived class function. But base class containing the pure virtual function will automatically become the abstract. Here, if you have a virtual function which is pure virtual function, then it will be always an abstract class. So how do you write? In virtual, we write virtual and then the function type and then the function name. And here you have to write whatever function is there, you have to put is equal to 0. This is the code. How do you write? Definition is given in the base class for virtual function, and for pure virtual function, no definition is given in the base class. No definition at all. Now, in the virtual function, all derived class may or may not redefine virtual function or base class. If there is a virtual function, the derived class may not write anything about it. But all derived class for pure virtual function must redefine it. Otherwise, the derived class will also become the abstract, just like the base class. Okay, if there is a pure virtual function, if you don't redefine it in your base class, it will be abstract.